I want to do a sweep just so you see other options. If I go to the model here, I'm just going to use the same plane to draft on. So the one that I called dome, I'm going to draft on that to create the sweep. Again, these are just names to help you locate that position in your model. So I'm going to have something that comes up the wall and then comes out and into the space. If I go to the view, I can then say set and make sure that I've got the reference plane active that I want to be drafting on. I would then start on the model in place, tell it it's a ceiling. I'll call it swept ceiling just so I can show you that option. If I then go to the option that says sweep, there's really two parts to this. There's the defining the path that you want the objects to go along, and then defining the boundary or the profile that you want to send along that path. So when you start the command, it's asking you to either draw the path or pick edges on objects that you want to define as a path. I'm going to sketch it. So I'm just going to say I'm going to start the lower end of the wall, come up, and then I'm going to go out and over like that. That's the path defined. That's the place reserved for me to draft on to create the form that I want to, the profile that I want to sweep along there. So I need to tell it that I'm finished with the path, right? The sketch path. I'm finished with that. Now I need to say I either want to draw a profile or I want to select from the profiles folder, other shapes that I want to have predefined that I want to send along. We saw that for baseboard and cove on the custom wall that we did. I'm going to say that I want to actually edit the profile, which is that I'm actually going to draft it. It tells me, well, if you're going to draft it, you can't draft it in this view because you're going to try and place it on that plane that's there. So I'll say go to floor plan level 1. There's the plane that I'm drafting on. Level 2 would be where I want to be. That looks like it did not come in where I expected. Let me just... Sorry, that's where I need to be. Level 2 interior ceiling plan or level 2 interior floor plan. That's where I want to be looking at my object. Now down here is the plane that I'm drafting on. So if I now define the plane, let me just do it like, I'm going to make it simple so I can just pop it on here, just whatever shape, and I'm doing it quickly, but it's not to say that you couldn't go and be precise about what size and what placement you want for things to be. Okay, so it's 2 feet wide and it's 1 inch deep. I've met both conditions. That's me finished with the shape. Let me just to make the point, let me delete that and draw an arc in there. A very gentle arc. Again, I could be more precise about what I want, say 6 feet. Got my closed shape. So I'm finished with the 2D sketch. And I've got one more click to get out of the whole command, and then what it's going to do is sweep it along through my model. So if I then say I'm out of the actual in place geometry, if I go back to here, what I did was I drew this that goes up and around in my space. And if I go back to the floor plan for level 2, CA for camera, if I were here looking in that direction, that's the form that I created. Now, because it's a ceiling, I should be able to do things like place lights on it. So if I said architecture component, if I drop it on here, back to there, there's the light mounted on the surface of that ceiling.